Hey, what's up, man? So I actually have 3 very easy questions to see if people trust their common sense, elementary level. Want to give it a shot?
Sure.
Yeah, perfect. All right. So I have 2 images here, and the reason I call them images is because one of them is a photograph and one of them is a painting. So I want to see if people can tell the difference between the photograph and the painting.
Can I move this up?
Yeah, oh yeah. Bring it up, closer to your eyes or something, if you need to.
Painting? Photograph?
Yeah, it was actually a trick question. They're both paintings.
Oh, they're both paintings?
Yeah, they're both paintings.
Because this looks so much...
realistic,
the
right?
Raised markings on the face, everything.
Right,
Yeah.
right. It's really, this is actually done on an iPad, so it's a digital painting.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, that could be the reason why.
Yeah.
But this is an oil painting.
Yeah, and you can tell the edges.
Yeah. I see. Maybe. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I look at the
ear and stuff.
The fuzziness.
The fuzziness. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay. No. Yeah. So obviously, I don't expect people to get this one right because it's impossible to, But there is 2 reasons why I asked this question.
Okay.
That have to do with common sense. The first reason is if just believing someone opens the door to being deceived, right? Because you believe me that one's a photograph, that influences your choice. So it's not just to believe someone. Basically.
Okay.
The second reason is if we want to determine something is real, an image is not good enough. Because if I showed you an image of me flying or
Never
me walking,
read a book, judge a book by the cover.
exactly.
Yeah.
So in other words, yeah, we shouldn't believe an image. If we want to determine something is real, that's obvious. So the next 2 is actually has to do with elementary physics. It actually has to do with water. So
Okay.
could we agree once water is contained, like in this bottle especially, it always seeks its lowest point. In other words, it always goes down. Because I could turn the bottle upside down, but water always knows to go down. That's what water does. Water always seeks the lowest point.
Okay.
Right? That's obvious, right? So since we understand that fact about water, that it always goes down, I have 2 photographs here, and I painted the water blue with food coloring just to make it easier. But how I'm showing you these 2 images, or these 2 photographs, which one of these 2 is upside down? Since we understand water always goes down, which one is upside down? If you look at the water, that's going to be your reference point.
Yeah. I'm looking at the water as a reference point.
Yeah.
But I'm also looking as this one is upside down.
There you go. Oh, yeah, you got it.
Okay.
You got it. Yeah, because the water can't stick to the top of the bottle. So I took that one like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got it. All right, perfect.
But I looked at something else that was the dead giveaway.
What was the dead giveaway?
The pressure on the thumb.
Oh, you can see the pressure on here too. I make sure I put the pressure on both.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
okay.
no, yeah. If I didn't put the pressure on this one, you would.
This one is much more visible.
Okay. You're actually the first person to actually notice that. But no, yeah, that's actually a good point as well.
Cool.
No, yeah, you got it though. But I would say the water still choked because I could have put more pressure on this one still.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Even
And
though
I
it's right.
still would have said that one.
Yeah, because of the water.
Yeah.
Exactly. No, yeah, you understand. You get it. All right. So this last one's even easier. Have you ever heard of the term "water always finds its level"?
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
I've used water levels.
Exactly. I actually do have a water level, but yeah. So, what would be another word for level if you had to use a different word?
Another word for level.
Yeah, if you had to use a different word.
That's a good question. And I'm a linguist, so I should know it, but I don't. I would say a balance.
That's a good one, but horizontal will be the proper definition.
Yeah.
Horizontal. Because you can have a straight line, but if it's at a slope, it's not level.
No.
So it's a horizontal straight line.
Right, yeah.
Exactly, right? So since we understand that water always finds its level, and we know what level means, right? Which one of these 2 represents water level correctly? A or B? It's very elementary.
Well, you would automatically look at the 5 foot versus the different. Now, what was the question again?
So my question is, which one of these 2 represents water level correctly? Which one is correct when it comes to determining the level?
God, I know it's a trick question.
No, this one's actually pretty easy. It's actually not a trick question.
No?
No, this one's very easy.
Well,
if you had to go with your common sense, which one represents level?
Well, my common sense, honestly,
yeah.
would be that one.
Okay, why do you think this one's your correct answer?
Because you're going across 3 miles.
Okay, 3 miles.
And if water's on the ground,
Yeah.
then you're going to go with the contour of the planet.
Okay. So if we actually went to a lake, because there's lakes that are over 20 miles across. Right?
Okay.
A bunch of lakes, right?
So you go to a lake, then that's different. It's a flat surface.
So if we were to measure a lake that was miles across, which one would you go with?
Well, then I would probably go with that one.
Right. This is the obvious. If you go to a lake, you know, especially if it's very
flat
calm.
surface.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So the main reason I do this is because over 95% of the population have been tricked to believing this is the answer, even though we know it's this one. And then you kind of went there a bit, but do you believe the Earth is a ball?
I don't
believe
that it's flat.
Okay, no, but do you believe it's a sphere though? Right?
Yeah, as spheres. What type of sphere?
So like a ball, a sphere, basically.
Like a perfect ball?
I wouldn't say a perfect ball. But I know they say
yes,
it's an oblate spheroid, but a ball in general,
I do believe it's
even
a
if
sphere.
it's squished or whatever. But okay, so NASA in specific, because they claim to have satellites orbiting the Earth, so they need to know the radius of orbit. So they need to know the distance they're traveling.
Sure.
So they do tell us the radius of the Earth is 3,959 miles. So if we multiply that times 2, we get the diameter, and then from the diameter we multiply it times pi, we get the circumference, right?
Right.
So the circumference of the Earth is 24,901 miles. That's what they're telling us. So if we actually went out like a giant lake to measure for this curvature, because if the Earth is truly bending, right, it's curving, then there needs to be curvature 8 inches per mile square. So the first mile there's an 8-inch drop, second mile 32 inches, by the third mile there should be 6 feet of curvature, and in 10 miles there should be 66 feet.
Wow.
Yeah, so if we actually went out like a giant lake, again, every lake should be displaying this curvature, especially the oceans, but because the oceans, obviously there's waves, the lake will be a better place to do this experiment. So if we actually went out to measure for this curvature, the water is going to be parallel to the level. It's going to be horizontal, if you ask me. So this will be the #1 experiment to debunk.
It's setting in a bowl regardless of the curvature of the Earth.
Yeah, so it should be, well, they're telling us that it's bending 6 feet in 3 miles. So if that gap is 5 feet in the beginning, that gap should increase by 6 feet in 3 miles. So the water should be bending away from the structure.
Yeah.
But we understand the physics of water always finds its level. In other words, it always forms a horizontal plane on the surface. So have you heard of people that don't believe in the globe, or have you heard of? I know you've heard of it because
flat Earth.
Flat Earth, right? So I stay away from the word flat Earth because obviously there's a huge propaganda going on the internet right now. They're just name calling it. That's just a way to dismiss it, so that nobody actually gets serious like this. But if I was to ask you, what's the #1 proof that makes you believe or that convinces you that the Earth is a ball?
That the Earth is round?
That the Earth is round or a sphere. What's the #1 proof?
Well, you're going to laugh at this, but the rotation of the water in a toilet.
Oh, the Coriolis effect. I don't know if you knew that, but if you look into that, it actually has to do with how the water is dispensed into the container and the shape of the container. So a lot of people have done experiments in the same place, making the water go into different directions, just based on where the water comes in, and how the container is shaped. So that's actually been debunked, I guess you could say, again, because they've done both with the same container, just depending on how you drop the water inside, or how the water comes in.
Really? You think so?
Yeah.
When it's calm, flat, and there's no inert changes in the bowl,
right,
the water will always curve to the right on the western hemisphere.
Right. But I've seen a lot.
On the other hemisphere, it will always turn to the left.
Yeah, but they've done experiments where they have the one in the northern hemisphere going to the left, and then they pour it in a different direction, the water, and it goes the opposite. So they have both going the opposite direction.
Yeah, but see, you're changing the...
That's what they do. Usually people that do this.
But toilets are made so the water falls straight down.
Well, again, even if that was true, we should be able to measure for this curvature physically if the curvature was there. So even if that was true, this would still be the #1 experiment to prove whether that curvature is there or it's not.
Yeah.
But I like to go with physics. I stick with physics. Water shows me that,
I have a little bit of an out on that. I've been high enough to see the curve.
Oh, how high have you been, if you don't mind me asking?
I've been up into the spatial...
how many miles is that up? Would you say? Oh, feet, if you know the feet.
Right at the change in the
some pressure, change in pressure. I mean, there's...
Yeah, above the ozone layer.
Okay, so these images were taken 20 miles in the sky, which is over 200,000 feet.
Yeah, it was a little higher than that.
Yeah. So these were taken with a standard camera. So not a GoPro lens, because I don't know if you knew fisheye lenses, they curve horizontal lines, like a wide angle lens, right? So let me show you an example like this. They usually curve like that, GoPros. This is using a standard lens. and using a giant helium balloon. So a lot of hundreds of people have been doing this experiment of sending giant helium balloons with standard cameras, and the horizon is level, horizontal, and it rises with you. So if the Earth was truly curving and the horizon was the curve of the Earth, you should never look straight ahead at the horizon the higher you go. The horizon should stay below your feet the higher you go. So you should be looking down at the horizon when you elevate, but that doesn't happen. The horizon rises with you because it's an apparent effect. The horizon is the limit of our eyesight. It doesn't really exist as a curve. It's not the curve of the Earth, basically. It's just apparent. So when you increase your altitude, you're increasing your angle of view, and you see further of the Earth in front of you again, not below. So again, this wouldn't happen if the Earth was a globe. We shouldn't be able to get images like this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. When you're
so we don't.
When you're high enough in the above the atmosphere level, you can actually see the full Earth.
That's the thing. Anybody, in my opinion, showing you images of the full Earth. First of all, NASA doesn't even claim to have a photograph of the Earth as a whole. What they show us on TV, they're composites, so they're Photoshop, and they admit this. They say they take like hundreds of strips of imagery, and then they stitch them together on a computer. So what they're showing us on TV is not a photograph. So that image doesn't really exist. So it's just a cartoon that they're showing us.
Okay.
Again, so if you think that you could see curvature, you know, the higher you go and the curvature is there, I would still go back to physically measuring for it down here, you know, because again, if it is there, we should be able to physically measure it, you know. And then again, the reason I'm out here is because this information is being censored online, and the reason they're censoring it is they're just demoting it. So if you go on Google or YouTube, try to put in flat Earth, right? That's a trigger word, or ball Earth lie, or stuff like that. You're just gonna get nothing but ridicule, dismissing, and nobody taking it serious, you know.
So do you believe that the Earth is a sphere?
Well, I don't believe the Earth is a sphere. I know the Earth is level, and I go with what water shows me, what physics shows me. You know what I'm saying? So if somebody else can show me an experiment or physically demonstrate to me how water bends, the surface of water once contained, then okay, I'll look into that. You know, I'll accept it even if it's demonstrable. But there's a reason why it only exists as a cartoon. You know what I'm saying? That's the only place you're ever gonna.
Do you have a card?
Yes, actually, I'm actually out here sharing this information because again, if you go online and try to look for some genuine information, you're not gonna find it.
No, I'm not going to look for gangling information.
No, yeah.
I have several friends in the actual
okay.
field of aviation, if you want to call it
okay,
that.
like the pilots, basically, right?
Well, a couple of friends of mine were astronauts.
Oh, okay, wow, that's interesting.
Truly up in space.
I would say, like, again, some people might get triggered by this, you know, especially new people. I would say astronauts are 100% definitely lying.
Are 100% what?
Definitely lying, because they're not going into outer space. Now, the people that are below them, like people that work on the at the station, right, and stuff like that, they don't have to be in.
So
the
you think that them being up in a spaceship in outer space is a fallacy, and it's all produced here on Earth?
Exactly. I know. Again, this is like I know it might trigger some people, but again, I will go with physics, and that's what's going to show me who's lying and who's not.
Well,
you know what I'm saying? Because people do lie.
I grew up with my friend who's been up in space, and I know he's not lying.
Okay. Well,
but,
really enjoy the conversation.
You too.
You know, man. Have a good one.
Enjoy. I'm
Thanks
Tom.
for talking to me, man.
Yeah,
well, I'm William, by the way.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you, man. Have a good one. What's up, man? So I want to see if people actually trust their common sense. So I have 3 very easy questions. You guys want to give it a shot?
Yeah, sure.
All right, cool. So this first one, I have 2 images here, and the reason I call them images is because one of them's a photograph and one of them's a painting. So I want to see if people can tell the difference.
Yeah, that's crazy. This is the painting.
Okay.
Either one.
What do you think they're both photographs? What about you?
Something's telling me that that's a painting.
Okay, and what about you?
For real, I feel that too, but I feel like none of them. You never know.
He said one is a painting,
One is a photograph, and one is a painting.
I can see this one being a painting.
Okay.
I think that one a painting.
Okay. You almost got it because it is a trick question, but they're both paintings.
Oh, they're both paintings?
Yeah. So I don't expect people to get this one because it's impossible. Obviously, you can't tell, you know. But there is 2 reasons why I asked this question, and they have to do with common sense. The first reason is just believing someone opens the door to being deceived, because you guys believe me that one's a photograph, that influences your choice. So it's not good to just believe someone.
That's why you never
right?
know.
Exactly. Yeah. So you're a little bit open-minded. So the second reason is if we want to determine something is real, an image is not good enough. Because if I showed you an image of me flying or me walking on water, would you guys believe I could do those things? No, right? It's obvious. So yeah, so these next two are actually have to do with water. Elementary physics, very easy. So when water contained like in a cup or this bottle, could we agree that water always seeks the lowest point? It always goes down. Because if I could turn the bottle upside down, water always goes down. Doesn't matter what direction the bottle is, water always goes down. That's a fact, right? Since we understand that fact about water, I painted the water blue with food coloring just to make it easier. But since we understand that water always goes down, let me show you how I'm showing you these two, which one is upside down? Since we understand that water goes down, which one is upside down?
It doesn't even look like water, to be honest.
Yeah, it is water, but I painted it blue though.
There's really water in there.
But which one is upside down?
I gotta go with the left. I think that one.
You got it.
Because what you're saying, how you're showing it to
Exactly,
me right
how I'm showing it. Exactly, because the water can't stick to the top of the bottle.
Yeah, that's impossible.
So exactly, I took it like that. You got it. Yeah, you got it. You understand why, right? This one was upside down. The water can't stick to the top. Oh yeah. All right, perfect. So have you guys ever heard of the term "water always finds its level"? Right.
Yeah.
You know, it always. What would be another word for level if we had to use a different word? Even is a good one. Horizontal is actually the proper definition for level. You know, so since we understand that fact about water as well, very easy. This is the easiest one of all. Which one of these two represents level correctly when we're looking at the water? A or B?
A.
Yeah, it's obvious one, right? Yeah, it's obvious, right? Like if we had a giant pool or a giant lake, the surface of the water would be like this, right? So the real reason I do this is because over 95% of the population have been tricked to believing this is the answer, even though we know it's this one. You guys want to know how we were tricked? You guys believe the Earth is a ball?
Yes and no.
Yes and no? Okay, you're a bit open, that's good. So NASA in specific, they claim to have satellites orbiting the Earth, right? So they need to know the radius of orbit. So they need to know the radius of the Earth, right? And the radius is the distance from the center to the edge, right? So they do tell us the radius of the Earth is 3,959 miles, which means there has to be curvature every mile. So the first mile is an 8-inch drop, second mile 32 inches. By the third mile, there should be 6 feet of curvature. And 10 miles, there should be 66 feet. That's like a 6-story building that we should be able to measure that curve. So if we went out to a giant lake that was miles across and measure for this curvature, the curvature is not going to be there because water always finds its level, and that means horizontal, right? So this will be the #1 experiment to debunk the globe. You know? So if I was to ask you guys, you know, not you, but what's the #1 proof that makes you guys believe or convinces you that the Earth is a ball?
Just
Like I appreciate what others tell us.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's pretty honest, yeah.
that's what-
And a lot of people would say images, right?
that's what science
But
tells
again,
us.
if you want to determine something is real, an image is not good enough, especially that image defies physics.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you guys knew, the reason they call them images, because NASA calls them images, is because they're not photographs. They admit that they're all photoshopped. So a photograph like this, for example, of the Earth, doesn't actually exist. These are all cartoons,
Yeah.
and NASA admits it. So the only place you're ever going to see curvature of the Earth is through cartoons like this, or through GoPro cameras. You guys are familiar with the fisheye lens?
Yeah.
Right? How it curves horizontal lines, right? It makes everything, it warps everything basically. So that's another trick that they use to fool us, right? When there's jets flying very high, right? They'll use a camera like a GoPro, and they'll try to show people the horizon, like, oh, look at the horizon's curving, right? But again, it's just the camera effect. A lot of people have been sending up helium balloons, giant helium balloons that go 20 miles in the sky, which is higher than anyone has ever gone, with a standard camera, and this is what the horizon actually looks like. So the horizon, how would you describe it? How would you describe the horizon? Exactly, or horizontal. If you ask me, that's where the word horizon comes from horizontal. So another thing about the horizon is that when you rise up, like in a mountain or in a helicopter, the horizon rises with you. So you never look down at the horizon. And if the horizon was the curve of the Earth, because a lot of people would say that, oh, the horizon is the curve, right? That's where everything starts to curve down. You should look down at the horizon when you go up, and you never do that. It's a fact. The horizon is always in front of you. The horizon is simply the limit of our sight, because we don't have infinite vision like Superman. You know, we have a limit. You know, when something goes far away a distance, it gets smaller and smaller and smaller until you can't see it anymore. You know, so again, the horizon is just a limit. You know?
Yeah.
So, do you guys have any questions about this topic? Have you guys heard of this topic before?
Yeah, I have.
Right? I'm sure you guys have.
All I know is believe on, believe nothing. Suppose that.
Don't believe anyone. Trust
Yeah.
your common sense, I would say, and
Common sense, yeah.
understand physics. Again, water
Yeah.
will be the #1 proof to debunk the globe. I have some info here real quick. Let me just show you. Have you guys seen what the stars actually look like?
Yeah,
So-
I have, and that's what trips me out because
Yeah.
the thing is, I'm like really fascinated about space.
Okay,
And
I
outer
was like
space,
that too,
and,
yeah.
One thing that trips me out is just like the fact that everything that we know is said to us. Like, how do we know what is true if that has been told to us?
Yeah.
Like, for example, I'm not saying murdering is bad.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
They made it bad because that's what they wanted to do. So,
Well, I would say you wouldn't want to be murdered.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, they made that seem like bad,
like an
bad.
evil act, like
yeah,
like they will go to hell, right? For
I'm saying,
example,
but what if
and
there's
stuff like that.
places where killing people is good and not killing people is bad?
I guess you could say that.
It's hard to explain what I'm trying to say, but I'm just saying, like,
no, I know what you mean. I know what
they
you mean.
make what they want it to be.
I guess.
So how is that fair?
Yeah. Especially when it comes to stories about space, nobody has been higher than 20 miles. So NASA, anybody showing you images or anything about going higher than 20 miles, again, it's just cartoons or camera effects. Because this is the highest human beings have ever gone. Have you guys seen the Red Bull jump from space?
Yeah.
Yeah? So he actually used a giant helium balloon as well. And he supposedly, he went up literally around this distance, 20 miles in the sky. Because that's as high as helium balloons can go. And then he jumped from there. Again, he used the GoPro. And that's what they used to show the rest of us that, oh, look, the Earth's, of course it has curve, right? It's a ball. But again, it's just a camera effect. And again, anybody showing you anything higher than 20 miles, it's just a cartoon. It's not real. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, again, this is what the stars look like, and this is what the planets look like. Look, this is what NASA shows us, a cartoon, like this and like this, but this is what it actually looks like. So the planets are just lights in the sky like the stars. You know, and this is using an 83 times zoom camera, so that tells us that the sky above us is very close. So that whatever the stars are on, you know, they're probably on, if you ask me, there's probably a ceiling above us. And that's where the stars are reflecting, or basically, that's how we're able to see them.
No. Have you heard of the theory that we're like in a firmament?
A firmament? Yeah, the dome theory, right? I would say the dome theory is more logical than the outer space theory. Because again, what happens when you have like a tire in a car, right? And there's a hole in it, and then it's filled. The air starts to rush out continuously. Even if you have like any air pressure, basically, it has to be contained. So they're telling us that outer space is that negative pressure next to the Earth's pressure, but Earth doesn't have a container to maintain that pressure. So outer space, again, it debunks itself, you know, if you understand how pressure works. So again, just stories about outer space. But the dome theory, again, that would explain why we have air pressure.
Yeah.
Again, but nobody's ever been to this dome, you know, and actually knocked on it. Not, you know, I don't know that. So I don't know if it even exists. But it's the more logical conclusion than outer space. You know, outer space.
What do you believe?
Outside, so what I don't have beliefs. So it's either I know something or I don't.
Yeah.
What do I know?
No, I'm saying, like, what do you
level.
know? Like, what do you
The
think?
Earth is level. I know we've been lied to about what the space actually is. It's not a ball, and outer space is just a story. So I don't know what's outside of it.
God.
Oh yeah, 100%. Another thing, they're trying to hide a creator. So they try to tell us that everything came from a big bang, right? From nothing, right? And that we evolved from monkeys, right?
Yeah.
The fact is, if you guys look into this, like basic science basically shows that energy cannot be created nor destroyed. Exactly, everybody knows that.
That's why I'm not gonna say, but
That debunks the Big Bang.
never mind. I'll just keep that to myself.
It's fine.
I was about to say something, but nah.
Nah, but yeah, that
I
debunks.
don't want to seem crazy.
Same.
I mean, trust me, you won't. I mean, but
Let's just say I am that I am. So what is that?
it just means that. I mean, to be honest, I mean, I don't know what it means to everybody, but I am that I am. I would say that that's like, I would say that you are who you are. Exactly. Like, you have to stay true to yourself. In other words, don't be swayed with what people say. Because again, you are what you are. You are common sense.
Well, what I mean
You
by
have your
that is
senses.
like I'm part of everything. Like, there's no difference between me and you, and there's no difference between.
There's not.
The way I see it, like, clearly there is. Like logically, like human thinking, like yes, there is a difference, like between the four and me and you.
Yeah, obviously
The
here.
way I'm thinking of that, like if you think about it, at the end of the day, the purpose for me and you and this four is no difference.
Right. It's all here for a purpose. Working together, you could say.
Yeah, like,
we're all
like,
here.
You know how you're saying energy doesn't get destroyed nor created,
Yeah.
therefore we're all the same thing.
We're being
all part of the same
recycled.
thing,
Yeah, exactly.
And
We're
that's
part
why
of this
when
cycle. Yeah,
when
yeah.
we die, our energy goes like we're literally formed from like stardust and shit like that.
I mean, again, what's outer space out there? I don't know what's out there, but we're definitely created from something. Because again, energy cannot be created nor destroyed. So we do come from something.
Yeah.
What that something is, again, I don't know. But religion tries to tell you.
Yeah.
Every religion, what do they all have in common?
The same
A
thing. Yeah,
creation
you want to know
story.
something weird? Even science is the same thing as religion. Like if you look at it says God has no beginning nor end. Look at the universe. It has
They tell us a
nor
beginning.
end.
No,
You
yeah,
know what I'm saying?
no, but they do try to tell us a beginning. That's the Big
Yeah,
Bang
but what was
theory.
after that?
No, yeah, then they say that's. Well, they do say that stars die and
Yeah, but
eventually
also
our
what was
sun's
after
gonna
the
die.
Big Bang? Nothing,
Obviously,
right?
again, it's all just religious
Yeah,
stories.
It's just hard to explain.
Yeah, the heliocentric model, the ball Earth, is the biggest religion on Earth. Again, they all have a creation story, and they all basically are based on faith. All religions are based on faith. So my best, advice to especially young guys like you, stick to physics. Understand physics, how water
Yeah,
behaves.
absolutely.
The surface of water is the #1 proof to debunk the globe.
All I know is I'm glad there's people out here doing the same
For
thing
real.
as me, and I'm not just crazy.
No, you're
You
not.
know what
Trust
I'm
me,
saying?
man.
Like I'm just not
Imagine if
crazy.
we never would have came up. Like, we literally
Look,
just like.
I have some info here. These are the 6 main proofs to debunk the globe, and I have a card in there as well. Here,
Not what this.
yeah. You guys want one? And then there's some websites on there because I don't know.
Your YouTube or what?
Yeah, it's my YouTube there. The first one, William and Natalie. Here you go. Okay, cool. Huh. So yeah, one of the main reasons why I'm out here is because I don't know if you guys knew, but this information is being censored online. So I came
it
across.
is. Yeah, I know it is a lot.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm
You
glad
can
that
never
there's
find it
people
on
out
Google.
here
Talking about this.
speaking on this because when you just speak to it to yourself, you kind of feel crazy. Like you're like, am I is this normal?
Am I the only one?
Or am I making this up in my mind? You know.
No, yeah.
But it's actually good to feel that there's other people that understand because me and my friends talk about a lot of crazy shit like this.
Oh yeah.
About like older homies, and we
Yeah.
get into deep shit like this because at the end, life's a trip. Just
Yeah,
enjoy it.
let me just tell you this: nobody knows how this place came to be, and what we're actually supposed to be doing. Nobody
I don't
knows.
think anyone ever will.
Maybe that may be true.
knows?
I'll tell you this though: the North Pole. You know how all magnets point to the north?
Yeah.
I don't know what's at the north.
They don't even let us go over there.
It's
That's the
super
crazy
restricted. Yeah, that's what's super
That's the crazy
restricted.
part.
Yeah, that is crazy.
I also heard that theory where they're saying that the Earth is flat and then that there's Antarctica is like the
Let me show you that.
there's an ice wall
Yeah,
around
yeah.
the Earth.
So again, I don't go with I don't know. If I don't know something, I admit I don't know. So if
Yeah.
what they're telling us the Earth is, like all of the continents, you know, if that's all that exists, then this is what the Earth would look like. If Antarctica actually exists, because I don't know if it actually exists, it has to be a ring around the Earth like this. Because anywhere you go south, you're gonna hit Antarctica. And again, on this map, north is just the center point. So anything south of that would just be out of that, you know, away from the center point, which would just be a ring, you know. So this is what would explain what's holding the water in like a bowl, basically. Because a lot of people would say, oh, why doesn't the water rush out into space? Well, because it's being contained. If you ask me, the word continent comes from the word comes from the word container, you know, because the water has to be contained, you know. So the continents, I feel, do that, you know? But yeah, this is not what the Earth actually looks like, but it's what it would look like, you know, if they weren't lying to us about. Because there could be more continents, there could be other Earth ponds over here. That's why they don't let us explore the Earth. There's an Antarctic treaty that keeps people from going south.
Yeah.
Because who knows if you climb over this, if it's actually there, you might find another Earth over here. You know what I'm saying? They don't want us to find that out.
Have you ever tried any psychedelics?
I actually have. I've tried magic mushrooms before, and oh my god, you know.
They really open your mind.
Oh,
Well, they do.
yeah,
It's crazy.
yeah. I microdosed before, and I took like 3 high doses before, different times, obviously. And yeah, the high doses, oh my god, they really make you think about
They
this
really do.
reality.
Like it's not even like I didn't even like like you said, more about thinking about it.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah,
it's trippy.
contemplating
Yeah.
it, trying to make it make sense.
Yeah.
Basically, that's what you try to figure out. You know, make things
It was
make
crazy.
sense. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's a trip, man. Do you guys have any questions about this
No.
topic, man?
Just wondering, stop by. You know.
No, yeah, I'm glad you
Nice
guys
day.
did.
Nice day, no cap.
No, yeah, that's why it was a beautiful day today. I figured, you know, it's been raining on and off.
You come
so
here like every day?
I don't. The last time I was here was 2 weeks ago on a Saturday as
So you
well.
just come here like every once in a while.
I go to universities. That's the main place I go to. I go to UCR. I've gone there like 3 times, and yeah, I bring this to the students, and nobody knows why they believe the Earth is, again, just faith, you know. And I hope someday I get a conversation with like a professor there, right? Just kind of to highlight the point that not even professors know.
Most people would just be like, "Oh, you're crazy."
They're emotionally
It's like,
based.
yeah.
Most people are
Yeah.
just
That's
emotional.
one thing.
Nobody
you gotta,
thinks with the mind.
You gotta think logically, not how
Yeah.
you're feeling.
Exactly.
Because your
Emotionally.
feelings, yeah.
Their feelings get in the way of the
Yeah.
truth, basically.
What's your name?
My name's William.
William?
Yeah.
What?
Oh, nice to meet you guys, man.
My name's
Thanks for
Joshua.
talking to me, man.
My name's Eduardo.
Yeah, if you guys have any questions or anything on my channel, I have
Yeah,
my
we'll
email
follow
there.
it.
Yeah, you guys could follow me, and I have an email there. If you guys have any questions, you guys can reach me through there. And you know, yeah, I do this all the time here in SoCal. You know, I go to different places, and hopefully, you know, this could reach a mass, you know, of people,
Awakening,
a mass awakening, and hopefully, you know,
Yeah.
yeah, because the way life is right now sucks. Having to pay.
And if you look at it,
Yeah.
things are not getting better. They're getting worse.
No, they are.
They're
Yeah,
getting worse, not better.
it's obvious, exactly.
Like trees, animals,
Yeah.
ocean, like
Tunnel.
it's getting worse. Bro.
Everything, yeah.
And if we're not doing nothing right now, we're gonna be fucked.
We are gonna be fucked.
So we right now are the people who decide how our future's
Yeah,
gonna be.
exactly.
So we gotta make that change right now instead of being like, oh, let the other generation like, nah,
No,
it's
it's
up to
us. It's us. Why are we waiting for them when
Yeah,
we're
it's
alive
up to
now?
us, like,
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I'm out here, man.
We could change.
No, yeah, man. Thank you, man. Appreciate the chat, man. All right. Guess
Hey,
have a
have a
good one.
good day.
Yeah, you too, man.
Take care.
All right.
Stay safe.
Yeah, man. You too.